Gallbladder today. I get this question all the time in my email. What can I do to save my gallbladder so the doctor isn't taking it out? And also, what can I do if I no longer have a gallbladder? So first of all, what does the gallbladder do?
So the liver makes bile. There was the old commercials, Don gets grease out of the way. You know, you put that in the sink and the grease is gone.
Right.
So soaps make oil water soluble. And a lot of the elements of our food is essential fats or non-essential fats or fat-soluble vitamins. They need to be water soluble for us to assimilate them. And that's what bile does. Bile is a soap. It saponifies. It converts them so they're water soluble. And our liver makes bile very slowly. We kind of trickle it out all the time. So it's nice to be able to store bile, and the gallbladder holds onto it. And that way we can get a nice big shot, like that big squirt of Dawn in the sink when we have a large meal coming in, so we can digest those nutrients properly.
Why are so many gallbladders being removed?
We're seeing more gallbladder disease with an aging population and with greater amounts of chemical exposure. So the amount of waste that our liver processes changes just how thick the bile is. And at some point, if it's too thick and if it's sitting too long, it starts to crystallize and form these stones inside of it. And eventually these stones can block its opening. And then the ongoing flow of bile from the liver has nowhere else to go to, but it creates pressure.
What can we do to keep that from happening?
We can minimize that by having more fiber in our diets. Upwards of 40 to 80 grams can make a big difference. What happens there is a large amount of these wastes that are moving through our liver are coming back into our body from our colon. So we're getting dosed 2 or 3 times on the same stuff. So higher amounts of fiber, especially soluble fiber, puts less strain on the liver and makes the bile more thin and watery so it doesn't get stuck.
What's an example of soluble fiber?
Soluble fiber is the type that we get from vegetables and fruits especially, and then some types of grains like oats and barley are rich in that. But all types of produce contain soluble fiber.
If that gallbladder duct is clogged, like you're talking about, is there any way to unclog it?
There can be, and the threshold as far as how big of a blockage is somewhere around 1 centimeter. So if someone has sludge or if they have smaller stones less than 1 centimeter, that sometimes can get loosened up. The best documented way to do that is with compounds called terpenes, which are found in essential oils. So there are mixtures of enterically coated essential oils, mostly peppermint oil, that can help to loosen that. You know, I should mention a very popular therapy that doesn't work well for that.
What's that?
That's the olive oil flush. So we hear a lot about that. The idea is you drink a whole lot of olive oil, you have some lemon juice, and you poop out these big green globules. And it seems so compelling that this is stuff that left your gallbladder. Remember I mentioned how soap can dissolve oil? So you can reverse that, and if you add enough acid to oil, you can make solid soap. So when you drink a whole lot of olive oil and you have some acids with that, like lemon juice, you make olive oil soap inside your intestinal tract. So it's nothing coming out of the gallbladder, it's just soap.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it can cause the gallbladder to contract, and if you've got a stone close to the base of it, that can be a bad thing. So don't do the old olive oil flush. It's not the things that people they post pictures of. They're not really gallstones, they're little chunks of olive oil soap.
Those are also referred to as a liver gallbladder flush, correct?
Correct.
Grapefruit juice or something like that, and olive oil. Doesn't sound too delicious to me. So what if the gallbladder has been removed altogether? What tips do you have for people if they want to maximize their digestion? For sure. So the trick there is you still do make bile, but you can't get a big shot of bile at once. You have to rely upon that trickle of bile. So thinking about that, it's a matter of eating smaller meals more frequently. And you know, there's so many benefits to good, healthy fats in the diet. You don't want to cut them out, but the worst thing you could do is have like a cheeseburger and a big thing of fries all at once. You know, large amounts of difficult to digest fats at one time, just a recipe for disaster. Your body also has a more difficult fiber response at first because of the bile flow change. So you do want to work towards a good, higher fiber diet, but you want to segue to that over the course of about a month. To make it smoother and give you less digestive issues. So start slowly. What about supplementation, like bile, was it ox bile? That actually is available, and that may help for some. There's even a prescription medicine that's bear bile, you know, ursodiol, and that is rarely used, but may have some promise for small stones or for sludge as well. Fantastic. Your website is integrativehealthcare.com, and we recorded a digestion session with you. What's it about?
the digestive session was all about the connection between our stress response and our intestinal health.
And it was really good stuff. You always talk about something different. I love it. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, Sean.